where they give up everything basically, so they preserve their butts, and we don't destroy half the planet in the process of this, so that we can continue as free people, so that they can continue to breathe. It's pretty simple. They know we're going to get to quite a few of them, and this has them scared to death. The guards that have been doubled on a lot of the homes and estates that these people live in, tripled in some cases, and they don't do that without cause. They are scared. They think that it's coming now, so they're trying to prepare what forces they can. These people go to training. They don't have a problem with that. They'll learn how to fight against somebody who's trained like they are. Now, you have to understand that when I say 80% of the military, I'm not kidding. I asked, and I got confirmation of battalions, divisions at 80% in the military. There's whole aircraft carriers that will not launch an aircraft against the civilian population. They refuse to do it. Now, what are you going to do? It sure ain't going to be the boat captain, the rear admiral flying that airplane, I guarantee you. Now, what I'm trying to express is that we got them over a barrel in a lot of ways, yes, but they're making last-ditch emergency efforts to make sure that they can at least maybe survive. If this goes through, and that's why I'm doing this right now, if this goes through on this vote, they will have something to gauge the will of the people by. And I personally would vote for this on its merit. Okay, now the reason, listen to me very carefully, the reason I would is that because of the manner in which it takes their power from them on a permanent basis. That's a big difference. They're willing to surrender that so that they can live peaceably and not have to worry about somebody grinching up in the middle of the night with a big sharp knife and doing them a number. Real simple. They don't want to.
How does China feel about this?
China. You're going to be surprised where China fits in, and Russia as well. And I'm not allowed to talk about either one. But I'll just say that it'll be a surprise to you.
Okay, well, if they're really serious and they're really concerned that we're going to come after them, and if they were to offer a show of good faith, how about if we keep our guns, our personal debts wiped out, no more poison in our food and water, common law becomes the rule, MSM's cleaned out, no NDAA, no Patriot Act, and no voter fraud. If they can make those things happen in the next 24 to 48 hours, I would happily vote yes.
Well, you're going to find something along the order of Monday or Tuesday before I find out whether or not what we've got is acceptable. That's exactly the time frame.
Greg, can I add something here?
I don't know of anyone who can do any better than that because it has to be presented and then it has to be answered.
Greg, can I add something else too?
Go ahead.
Okay, somebody spoke of rolling things out in the media. I know about a dozen significant stories that our mainline Patriot broadcasters will not run with because they've been warned off. I'm in contact with a number of them. And if they'll kill JFK in broadcast daylight, not to mention thousands of others, they'll kill anyone so that the bravado is false. Now, if you'll notice, we're hearing more and more info of out of mainstream talk radio like AM Coast to Coast. They're letting the dopes off the rope is what it boils down to. Number two, Iran has already told the rest of the world they will sell oil in a number of currencies, which tells me that the Iranian regime knows that our military won't attack them. If Israel goes in there, I figure they're going to be by themselves. You got to understand, all over the world, people are writing this. They've identified the man behind the curtain, and I can't help but notice this in all the little economics. I'll shut up again.
Cyberberg. All right, getting back to the militia. Only one person has the authority to call out the militia. That is the county sheriff. Every man, woman, and child from the age of 16 to 85 is subject to be called out as members of the militia. They are required, which was during the French and Indian War, to bring one long gun, one short gun, and one shotgun. That would be one rifle, one pistol, and a shotgun, with 50 rounds of each. Now then, to the next thing that I have on the agenda. People were asking what the fines and the penalties was. Well, back in 1800 and something, I forget which court it was, but 1/5 of a person's monthly income, whichever was the greater. This is what fines and bonds and penalties were to be. I'm just wondering if we're going to go back to that standard on fines and penalties.
What makes you think that the militia has to be instituted by the National Guard or the sheriff? That's not the way of the militia at all.
Militia is only to be, has the complete authority of the county sheriff. Any other arms called by anyone else is a violation of the Constitution. If you'll look it up under the Constitution, who has the authority to call out the militia? That is your county sheriff. He is not subject to the legislature, to the president, to the governor, or anyone else. The county sheriff is elected by the people, and he is the people's representative, and he is responsible to the people of that county and no one else.
I've got a question. Congress and Senate are much of the problem in the USA, either because they're corrupt themselves or they're corruptible and controllable. Will those who are be adjudicated?
Yes. There's going to be a tremendous shift in a whole bunch of different ways. Now, like I said, this agreement that I'm propounding is simply the basis. It does not include everything that has been accomplished that goes along with it. There are other things that have been done that preclude any form of corruption, that includes the organic or original 13th Amendment, and basically sets the country free. This was a task assigned to a group of people that completed it to the satisfaction of the military. The military requested it be done, and it was completed. The next step of this is to make sure that the cabal, as we would like to call it, the bad guys, are in a position where they no longer can and will never be able to again do what they've done before. They don't mind that so long as they're saving their butts. Next question.
Drake, our court system is federal and local are so corrupt, it ain't even funny. Are we going to address those issues too?
Well, of course. Think about it. Who would you trust as the judge? Think about that person.
Well, I mean, we have a sheriff whose wife is a judge. He's arresting them and she adjudicates them, and that's you talk about a conflict of interest.
Well, conflicts of interest may or may not apply. It depends on whether or not it's an honest adjudication according to the law and according to the constitutional common law basis of what adjudication is supposed to be. Anything outside of that makes that particular person questionable.
Well, they're flying Admiralty flags in the courtroom and a constitutional flag out front.
Go back to the original 13th Amendment title of nobility. Any judge, attorney, lawyer, senator, Congress, anybody who's taken the bar exam is under British rule and has no citizenship or allegiance with America.
And they will be sent home.
Good.
Okay, now, the thing you got to understand is that there are going to be extraordinary changes. The basis of this are the enumerated points that I've made on this yes or no simple quiz. The will of the people, especially the freedom people, can be made known to the principals. I'm talking about the people that own the military-industrial complex. I'm talking about the people that own Federal Reserve banks. I'm talking about the people who are in trouble in Europe right now because the banks are going under. And they don't know what to do about it. They're scrambling. They're no longer taking expense accounts. They can't because nobody will pay them. There's been some extraordinary changes, and people have overlooked all this. Now, as far as the United States goes, I've been a patriot all my life, and I sort of slowly learned it. Then I took an oath of service. And then I learned what the Constitution said, and it's been gobbledygooked up. Okay?
Amen.
So let's go back to the original as close as we can get, and that's your 1787 Constitution plus the 13th Amendment, original organic 13th Amendment. And believe me, just that alone will clear the shelf of all the BS that's been going on. The Supreme
All right,
Court's gone.
I know Minuteman's
Your
around.
Attorney General is going to jail, and he don't have a choice. He's prosecuted people for supplying weapons that kill people, and he's guilty of that. That's the twin felonies, 10 to 25 each, no possibility for parole. So there are a lot of things that can be done, but needs to be accomplished in an orderly fashion. It does not need to have the chaos of riots in the street and civil war. What it needs is to have these people up against the wall, which is where they're at, hard enough that they can't get loose. That's the idea. This is where they're at. Now they still can do damage, as I stated. They still got full tanks of gas, and they still got a lot of weapons. I don't want all that stuff turned loose on us. That's horse hockey. It don't need to be if these people are really thinking about surrendering and giving up their positions of power, which is what they have intimated they are willing to do. So, you add to the fact that they're looking to help us transition to what should have been all along and joining the rest of the world in terms of the Eastern Alliance banking, having access to the collateral accounts, which will repair the infrastructure. You name it, sky's the limit. We actually have the opportunity to tell these principal people how the freedom people in the United States feel. This is why I put this out in the manner that I have as a big surprise. I wanted everybody to get a big jolt in the butt, and I wanted them to get excited, and I want them to make sure that as many that they know of that thinks anything similar will vote on this. These results are going directly to the families that are in control.
Oh yeah,
that's the difference between what has happened before and what is happening now. These are the people that pay for the wars.
Hold on just a second. Question. Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. Yeah, you got people excited. There's chat rooms blowing up from here to Jupiter. One question that I've got is, what are we really dealing with here? Okay, now you've said that 80% of the military won't fire on the people, but then there's the Dream Project, and then there's a rogue 20% that probably will fire on people. And who are we really going against here? Is this a UN-driven thing, or what is it? If the military was to side with the American people and somebody wanted this country, and then our military was forced to defend basically the rest of the world because the rest of the world is driven by the cabals and the financial families, is that really what they're worried about? Is that the bloodbath that they're talking about avoiding?
That's a part of it, yes. And what you have to understand is that they've gotten to the point where the idea of the possibility of us getting to them brings back the pictures in their mind of the French Revolution when they sacked, burnt, pillaged, and destroyed. And these people do not want that. The reason they don't is they don't want to be the person that's living in the mansion that we take away from them and chopped up in little pieces or whatever. They want to avoid that. This does have the capability of saving their butts to an extent. And this is what they want to negotiate about. This is what they are looking at. This is why they're looking at surrender. One of the reasons. The other reason is that they are financially being stripped anyway. Now, if you want to wait a while, that'll happen, and they'll lose their power. But in the meantime, they can do extraordinary damage. 20% could fire missiles, pilot aircraft, run a tank down Main Street, blowing everything up. I mean, take your pick. There are enough people that probably would stop a lot of that, but there's going to be a few get loose. And the take that I have on it is a combination of two things. First of all, anybody who knows war don't like it. There are very rare birds who do. I could name names, but I'm not going to at this point. Most of the people that I know of are relatively nonviolent, average, every day, have a little beer after work, have fun, play with the kids, this sort of thing. They'd rather go fishing than have war.
Just a second. I'm going to have to cut off on the broadcast. I apologize.